Happy Friday, everyone. Tom Grisafi, Ag Bull Media, Ag Bull Trading. You're listening to the Ag Bull Podcast. My phone's dinging and danging. What a week. I don't know where to start, but don't worry. We got it all for you. Mr. Wiesemeyer sent his notes. He's ready to teach class. Enjoy the show. Let's give this man the proper introduction he so much deserves. Mr. Jim Wiesemeyer, happy Friday, my friend.
Oh, I'm so glad it's Friday. We had like 2 weeks in one again. It's called Trump on steroids. And we got a different approach to the news this week, Tommy, as you well know. We're going to go through a true lightning round of the issues that we've identified. In case we don't have enough time to get through them all, we're going to bottom line it at first and then come back as we have time to decipher the top stories of the week.
Let's take it at the top. Number 1, 2, and 3, Mr. Wiesemeyer.
Data catch up, we're going to show later on. USDA, CFTC released their reports. Some of the business reports also came out. We had a cattle on feed report today, and that was a current report, by the way. Tariffs, it's a movable target. Remember, we've been discussing those Brazil 50% tariffs on coffee and beef. Well, they're off now. So that's good. The
Number
third
3
one,
was the EU.
yeah. The third one, I'd have to go back to your list. Yeah. Potential lowering of tariffs on EU food goods. We're going to talk about that. Cattle may not like that. I know NCBA doesn't, but we'll dissect that. Our
4,
fourth
5, and
topic,
6.
yeah. Oh, ICE is de-emphasizing again deportations on farms. Well, bottom line, what that means. H2A changes were recently announced. We're going to put a bottom line assessment on that, but we still need year-round dairy to contribute to H2A. 6 is a biggie, tariff aid. We're going to spend some time on that one, Tommy. When is it going to be announced? How much? And what type of a program we're going to have for that, Tommy.
7, 8, 9.
There's your disaster program too, was finally announced. We're going to have bottom line numbers, including a question most farmers ask me, but we'll tell you what that means. The 8th one is the Renewable Fuel Standard Program. Reuters had a story that really says that the warring factions between the refiners and the biofuel people has resurrected again, and it may delay some decisions. 9 is a sensitive one. Is Secretary Rollins at USDA talking too much to the big media? That would be Fox News, Fox Business, CNBC, Newsmax, X, things like that. Some pretty good people are telling me she needs to go out to talk to more farmers and ranchers, and I would agree because she's very articulate. More on that later.
I've
And
met her
then,
personally. I like her a lot. Time to
yeah,
take your shoes off because we're up to number 10, 11, and 12. That means we can't count on our fingers anymore.
yeah, we've got some news on the U.S.-Mexico border reopening. In fact, some news that was just announced today. It's not reopened yet. 11, the Fed challenge. Now we have sinking rates that they're going to lower rates in December at the FOMC meeting. 12 is a December to remember coming up on healthcare. Will the Republicans and Democrats in the White House ever reach a deal on those enhanced Obamacare credits by January 30th?
And then we'll take it home.
Will China buy all those U.S. beans like the Trump administration says? We'll have something to watch out for. Whole milk is coming back to schools, not right away, but it's coming back. That's a good thing for dairy. And the last one, we have a new, revised, and improved WOTUS rule. We'll tell you the impact.
Mr. Jim Wiesemeyer. And I swear I'm on the show. He's got me clicking the buttons. Tommy Grisafi from Valparaiso, Indiana. Mr. Jim Wiesemeyer. You probably wonder, where the hell does Jim Wiesemeyer come from? Well, we got the man on the street, Mr. Wiesemeyer. Let's get right in the show. Number one, kick it off, sir.
Well, those are these, and we're not going to go through all these, but the commitments of traders report, that's important to a trader like you, Tommy, and a lot of traders. They want it, but it's going to take a while for the CFTC to catch up. And that's why you see in the middle, the original published date and now the new published date. We won't get back to snuff, current that is, until early next year. That's the bottom line there. But at least we're going to see some of the big longs, big shorts, and things like that, because that a lot of times that sets the tone of the marketplace on
Very
Mondays.
much. Yeah. Yeah. And I got to tell you, Jim, from a trader's perspective, all these smart people, they're just at a loss. I mean, these number crunchers, these geeks, these people who live and die and sleep with Excel spreadsheets, they only have one speed, and that's geek speed. They don't know how to think outside the box. That's Tommy's 2 cents.
And the FAS, we had daily export sales and the export sales report. And now we're going to be getting them. So that's good, because it's a good way to monitor whether China's living up to their purchase commitments on, it looks like, the phase 2 of the U.S.-China. More on that later, but at least we'll have numbers again, Tommy, both on a daily and a weekly basis. And then NAS, we're not going to go through all those, but NAS has a lot of reports, and this shows you the dates at which they're going to come out with these reports. Again, it's going to take some time to get them caught up, but some of the reports, like we'll end with on the cattle on feed, was actually current today. So that's a good thing. We're going to get solid information in time from USDA basis their surveys.
Jim, if people watching or listening want that list, where can they get it from?
That just Google NAS, NASS, and look under their press releases, and it's there. I also put it in my updates Thursday, I believe. So you can also call up my updates at my email, my last name at gmail.com.
We have it on the Agbo website, Agbo Intel.
Okay.
Mr. Wiesemeyer's, yep. Joe
it's
posted
there.
it.
We covered it live when it happened. I put a special report out.
Yep, we probably put a breaking news headline on it. Okay, back to the show. We are Brazil.
Remember how long we've been discussing those extra 40% tariffs on top of the initial 10% tariffs on Brazilian coffee and beef. Well, they finally took them off yesterday afternoon. They ruined my yesterday afternoon because I'd write a special report. Now, it's going to take some time for those products to get into the marketplace, but I'm going to have cheaper coffee probably around Christmas time. It's going to take probably at least 30 days to work to the system, because there's expensive inventory built up at supermarkets. So, but I do want to put a policy statement out in this. This shows you their strategy on the Trump trade policy was not well thought out to begin with. Had he kept with his initial instinct, which was correct, on reciprocal, like telling the world, we're going to treat you the way you treat us. Any American listener could understand that. Well, that's fair. But then they added more on. And when he got mad at Brazil for treating their former president, Trump's friend, not so good, they put him in jail. He slapped an additional 40% tariffs on. Well, that kept most of their beef out of the U.S. market, and it's not high quality stuff. It's hamburger. Hamburger. So it's not going to upset the overall meat market here, and maybe 2%. But then the coffee is big. I mean, it showed the coffee futures really just went down a lot, because they know that Brazil is a big coffee exporter. So, but why did they do what they did? Because they should have known. That tells me they didn't have real Aggies in their strategy room, Tommy, because if they did, they've been wouldn't be worried as much now about food prices. They're dropping these tariffs for one major reason: food prices. They're not going down as much as they want to, and coffee is a big component. And they should have never put them on to begin with. So at least they're correcting their wrongs. That's my bottom line on that.
And then full disclosure, folks, feeder cattle today opened, offered, limit down, 925. Most of the months of the feeders offered limit down, traded a lot down there, went up on the day, actually had a hell of a run, and then settled down. Now, there may be some late breaking news this afternoon. We don't have it yet confirmed, so I don't even want to talk about it, but we do have the commitment of traders. From a trader standpoint, whether you were bullish or bearish, there was something for everyone again this Jim.
That shows volatility. Absolutely.
I like
Okay.
volatility. I'm a trader. Call me selfish, call me a pig, call me whatever. But as a commodity trader owns a seat at the board, just get the stuff moving. We'll find a way to carve out a little for ourselves.
True. Brazil, the Financial Times, I should say European Union. The Financial Times had a story actually late last night, and I knew when I saw it I had to cover it this morning. They're saying the Trump administration may potentially lower further the tariffs on European food goods. Well, again, why would they do that? Food prices. The key word now in Washington, both political parties, is affordability.
Mm-hmm.
Both political parties know that because it was a form of the recent elections that the Democrats won in New Jersey and Virginia, my home state now, and some races in Georgia. Well, they're thinking we've got to get more products coming into the United States, and hopefully by Christmas. That's what I keep on hearing from them. They think that it'll start working its way into the system. I said earlier that I don't think National Cattlemen's Beef Association is going to like that because they want better trading terms for U.S. beef, hormone-free beef, etc., going into the EU, and the U.S. has not been all that successful in increasing our beef going into the EU. So watch this one. It's not confirmed yet, but the Financial Times is a pretty good publication.
Yeah, I like that from a worldview. Number 4, sir, ICE. This is very, a lot of people get revved up about this.
Well, now they're going back. It keeps on flipping. But the White House has signaled that ICE, that's your customs enforcement, recently they appeared to back off from conducting ag workplace raids. And even as it scours Democratic-led cities for immigrants who are in the country illegally. Well, that's kind of a good don't ask, don't tell, Tommy. Let's hope they continue that because most of those illegal immigrants in farm country, most are not criminals. So, and they're finding out at the White House, at the National Economic Council, and elsewhere, who are not agriculture oriented, that agriculture needs workers. So that'll be good for the specialty crops industry, not so much the grains, maybe the meat packers, absolutely. So that's a good thing as far as having the right number of people. And along with that, we have another one, Tommy, on that one, is the H-2A changes. Now, recently, the Trump administration eased labor shortages on farms via changes to that H-2A visa program. That allows in more than a few agricultural workers, about 420,000 every year since 2023, Tommy. However, they need a lot more. So they've increased that. You're going to see a dramatic increase in the number of seasonal workers coming in to work on U.S. farms. But dairy is still not helped all that because they need year-round workers.
Yeah.
So we still need either an administrative decision or a congressional law on that one. But at least they're moving in the right direction to get the people sow those specialty crops, fruit and
Sugar.
vegetable farm.
My friends up in North Dakota, they just got done with the harvesting the sugar beets. They could not do. I talked to one of my large clients, one of the largest sugar beet growers. Two things he wanted me to tell you. One, he watches, and two, they took a butt kicking this year. The price of sugar in the world has collapsed, in the beet growers of the Red River Valley absolutely taken a beating this year when it comes to markets. They're very, very worried about the financial security
Yeah.
of the sugar
Well,
beet
we're going
growers.
to get into that. I don't know whether it's the next one or not as far as the downturn and the aid package coming, but we'll
Tariff
get
aid?
to that. We are. That was a good bridge, Tommy.
You're very
Uh,
good, Mr. Wiesemeyer. We're going to have you back next week.
Look at this. This chart comes from Texas A&M University. My good economist, Dr. Joe Outlaw and Dr. Bart Fisher. I'm very good friends with both of them.
I
Uh,
wonder if they say the same.
Bart would. I don't know about Dr. Outlaw. But anyway, look at these bar charts going down. You don't want them to go down.
Hmm.
These are the losses per acre. The
Oh,
blue
down.
is 2024, and the maroon or orange or whatever we want to call it
Hmm.
is 2025. And look at cotton.
Wow.
Look at rice. I mean, there's a world of hurt. Oats and things, and even corn and soybeans are just $100 to $200 an acre losses. So if I were to add sugar, and they even mentioned this in Southern Ag Today, that Texas
Hmm.
A&M, they even mentioned the downturn in sugar. So I will definitely acknowledge that whenever they come out with a aid program, we'll get into that very shortly, they better include sugar on that. And let's go to the next chart, because this comes, nope, we had one on from Farm Doc. The
I
amount
don't
of
think we slipped that in that.
okay,
Lindsay
that's all
didn't
right.
slip that.
Well,
Let's talk
anyway,
our way through
we're
that.
going to get a chunk of money for the 2025 crop, but that won't come until the fall of next year. So that's why we need an aid program. Now, let's discuss the key features of the coming aid program. USDA Secretary Brooke Rollins said today that now it's going to come out in early December. Now, you'll recall before the government shutdown, 43 days, she was saying it's going to be announced very soon. But now that and then she said, well, when the government reopens, well, the government is reopened. Where's the aid program? Well, she told Bloomberg and a couple of other people this week that now it's going to come in early December. Have things changed? What I've
Mm.
been able, it was the total of the program was going to be about 12 or 13 billion dollars, but now I'm starting to hear they've changed the focus of the program. They've looked at some of the price run up, like soybeans have gone up, what, $1 to
Yeah, a dollar and a
50,
half at one
a
point. Yeah.
dollar and a half at one point. Now, and so they may be scaling down, not out. We're going to have an aid package, but farmers are saying, what are they talking about? Because the government was shut down, we were forced in some cases to market some of our commodities for cash flow because we couldn't get a marketing assistant loan because they weren't offering them. So they're readjusting. I don't think they know how they're going to strategize the program. Some people within the Trump administration want to target on China and trade if the commodities have been hurt by exports. Others want to say no. Farmers have a cash flow problem. They're debt repayments. We've talked about that over the past few weeks. Should not just be an export program. And if it was just focused on exports, corn has a record corn exports year going on. Does that mean they don't get anything? So you can see the dilemma. And all I know is there's politics involved here too, because the ag community, not just farmers, the rural community, for a group, was the largest sector that voted for President Trump. His first term in office, his defeat on Biden, and his coming back under Trump 2.0. So there's a lot of farmers who will be upset if this is not deemed as enough support. I don't want to tell you, I did hear numbers under $10 billion this week, but I know they're still discussing it, and they're seeing some of the responses on the news wires. And I know in my writing what farmers are saying, like they're more than upset if this is not a viable program to bridge them, Tommy, into
Mm-hmm.
2026. That all of the USD officials have said that. They know that. Now, what they could do is when they do announce it in early December, maybe they can get House Ag Committee Chairman G.T. Thompson from Pennsylvania, Bozeman from Arkansas, and to say, okay, our aid program is just an initial down payment. Congress, much like they did in 2024, December 21st to be exact, when they legislated $10 billion in farmer aid and about $20 billion in ag disaster aid, but that was for 23 and 24 crops. Maybe they'll do that. We'll see. But all I want to point out, this is my bottom line, they're still discussing it because they've seen the impact of the soybean price run up. But that has not helped corn all that much, and it hasn't helped sorghum, even though China has purchased some sorghum milo. And cotton, I can't tell you how the horrible stories I'm hearing on cotton. You saw that in the bar chart, where their
Mm-hmm.
prices are stuck at 62 cents, where when China was into the marketplace, they were in the 90-cent or higher area. So aid is coming. We don't know how much anymore. And we don't know their concept of the aid program, whether it'll be export oriented or will it be to help farmers bridge into 2026 and help them make some debt payments.
Jim, we have breaking news. I don't want to say it yet, but
Sure.
young Lindsay just popped in the show. She's adding a slide. It's not good, and I'm not happy about it. But while we're talking, folks, if you'd like to catch anything, we'll pull that up
I
in 1 second, Joe. We'll pull that up in 1 second. If you'd like
think we
Jim
saw the
Wiesemeyer
line.
stuff,
Yeah.
yeah. Joe, a little fast on the grip, but that's right. We still love him. All right. If you want to get Mr. Wiesemeyer's newsletter, wiesemeyer@gmail.com. You can go to www.agbull. We're posting his stories as fast as he's putting them out. This is free. This is the best doggone thing in the internet. There's nothing better. Matter of fact, I see a lot of other people and agriculture people cutting and pasting and doing all that stuff and publishing his stuff. But that's all right. That's just what do you call that? Flattery is the a
Yeah.
compliment, right?
I'm too busy going on to the next story. But can
Yeah.
we put that one liner up again on Tyson?
Yeah, and we got some graphics to back it up, I believe. This
Oh,
just
wow.
came out. This is what I was worried was going to happen. It is confirmed. Tyson to shut down a beef processing plant in Lexington, Nebraska. I lost my my
Picture.
camera here. We'll get I'll pop back in here. Where am I here? I'm in this show here
But
somewhere.
let's get some perspective on this one. Now,
Yeah,
this
go ahead.
tells you some of the hurt that it's just not limited to farmers and ranchers. The ag business industry is going through some negative times as well. When you look at farm machinery, when you look at the meat packers and things like that, and I don't know whether this is part of it, but it probably is. And I never like to see a plant close because that means less competition, Tommy.
It's not good. This is one of the side effects of Joe, do you see where the graphic is? I don't. Oh, I do see it. Okay, right here. Tyson, Lexington. Folks, I'm reading it. Here's what we have here. I do have a little verbiage. Would you like me to read it?
I would,
Uh,
yes.
okay, I'm gonna pop on and I'm gonna do my best to read it. Joe, you could pull off that graphic. I'm having a hard time. I got it right here. Okay, here I am, Tommy Grisafi, Mr. Jim Wiesemeyer. Folks, if you're enjoying the show, tell a friend about it. All right, this isn't the best news ever, but I'm going to read what I have. So sorry for looking down here. Tyson to close one of the biggest beef processing plants in the U.S. Tyson Foods, America's largest meat supplier, is planning to close one of the largest beef processing plants in Nebraska at a time when a cattle shortage in the U.S. squeezes meatpacking companies. This Lexington, Nebraska plant employs roughly 1,000
Mm,
people and can slaughter almost 5,000 cattle a day, according to industry experts. Tyson is the first of the big four meatpacking companies that process 85% of the beef in the U.S. to close a major plant during the current cattle supply crunch. Meat packers, including Tyson, have been losing hundreds of millions of dollars processing beef because of the lowest amount of cattle in U.S. pastures since 1956. Tyson said earlier this month, this is the cattle cost for the 2025 fiscal year ended in a September rose nearly by 2 billion compared with the prior year, meaning that the price of cattle went up so much. This was their cost to go buy it, equivalent to like jet fuel going crazy, and the airlines lose money when crude oil is $130. The same thing
yeah.
happened. Record prices great for the person raising the beef, but there's an effect, folks. This is why we got to get back to economics. Mr.
How
Wiesemeyer,
old is this plant? Do they say?
no, but JoJo's there quick on the draw. We'll find out. I do
I,
have another friend who's texting me stuff. You go ahead, Mr. Wiesemeyer. I'd like your perspective.
well, I want to know why did they choose this particular plant? And I want to see the efficiency of it. I don't know, but I think they were forced to do from their stockholders and things like that. This is called a retrenchment in the ag sector. This is just another solid sign that the industry needs help. And they're taking steps to increase the number of cattle coming in so they can process them. And that'll get us into the Mexico situation shortly.
Okay. Well, we were going through the numbers, and I saw this breaking news came in. Of course, if you want to learn more, Jim's going to have breaking stories about this weekend. Wiesemeyer@gmail.com. Um, I,
Oh,
I'm
I'll
getting
have it this afternoon.
I'm getting more stories. I'm getting more stories texting me that the border will be reopening for December 1st as well. News next week. That is not confirmed, but that is something that's being texted to me. Jim, I lost track. What doggone number were we on? S.
Uh,
We did
we
tariff say this one. I feel like
uh,
we're at RFS with
no, no, no,
Eldon.
no. We need to go back. What was six?
Well, we went through this.
Yeah,
This
we
is the
did that
part.
one. We did that one. So let's go to seven. Bottom line, stage one has already paid out $5.7 billion. That leaves 10 billion for stage two. That's the specialty crops and quality issues. There's a 35% factor. So that they're estimating they're going to spend $2.7 billion for stage two. 5 million for storage payments and 1.65 million for MLP dairy. Now, the sign up ends April 30th. Now, this will save a lot of emails to me.
Okay.
Like, why did they only do 35%? They're going to have money left over. So we're going to get a top up payment for both stage one and stage two, but it can't come until after they know the total amount they're going to spend for stage two. And since sign up goes until April 30th, we've got a few months before we get a top up payment. But a top up payment will come, Tommy. That's the bottom line on SDRP.
Number 8.
Oh, the Renewable Fuel Standard Program is always complex, but Reuters had a story about midweek saying that White House was delaying until 27 or 28 their initial proposal of EPA to provide only 50%, half the RIN values on biofuels made from imported feedstocks, because that was going to make the refiners use more U.S. Products. But that was proposed for the 26 and 27 renewable fuel standard levels. But now they're also deciding on the level of those reallocation of the RFS obligation mandates affected by those special refinery announcements that we've seen. And all this is going to affect 26 and 27 mandated levels. So this is, EPA, Lee Zeldin. So I think we're not going to get news until December at the earliest, and they may even go into January before we get some more renewable fuel standard news, and also news about these RINs, and also, as I said, 45Z program. So
Mm-hmm.
look at this is what frustrates the industry, because if you have a challenge on exports because of China and tariffs, you have to increase your domestic utilization. Well, that makes the renewable fuel standard so important. It makes E15 year round so important for corn based ethanol. And California won't really get going now until late 2026 or 27 on their E15 pledge and a new law. And then the 45Z program, sustainable aviation fuel, we may not get the details on that until the spring of 2026 because the Treasury Department, IRS, because it's a tax incentive, is really bogged down trying to implement the One Big Beautiful Bill tax incentives that was part of that legislation signed July 4th. So that's another frustration on the part of U.S. agriculture producers because they're saying we've got to increase this domestic utilization, but the rules and regulations are dragging their feet, Tommy.
Yep, you take a minute to
Mhm.
clear your throat. All right, I'll read this one. You get cleaned up over there. Is Rollins taking too much, too big media, but not Aggies? I do understand what you mean here. Too much time on Fox News, Fox Business, CNBC, True Social, X. I've met Secretary of Ag Rollins. She was awesome. I like her a lot, and the stage is yours.
Ditto. She she is the most articulate ag secretary in my long career since Earl Butz, and that goes way back to the 70s.
We're going to
Okay.
farm fence post to fence post, Dr. Earl Butts.
Well, Earl at the time said he didn't say it, the market was saying it, but that's how he tried to defend himself. But we digress. But I think I've heard from farmers saying they think that the secretary, very articulate, very nice person, very knowledgeable, very close to President Trump. She needs to get out more into farm country to talk and listen to farmers and ranchers and
Mm.
agribusiness people. I understand the element of going on Fox News and Fox Business News and CNBC. As I've said before, a lot of the cabinet people, Scott Bessent, Kevin Hassett at National Economic Council, they go on the same programs, but they're really talking not to the industry, Tommy. They're talking to
Hmm.
their boss, President Trump, because they know he watches those programs. So that's kind of their way to send message grams to so the president knows what they're doing. But it's got to be balanced. An ag secretary should go out, and she can do it. I've seen her. Her first month was very good when she met with more than a few farm groups and farmers and ranchers. She just needs to continue, and so let's hope she does.
U.S.
Uh,
Mexico border
this
reopening
gets
and when
us
and how?
into, yeah, now you had said there was a speculation that December that the border could be
December
reopened.
1st. Yeah, that's what I'm hearing on my
Hmm.
little text here. I don't have it
Boy, that's
confirmed.
another
So,
thing I've got to check because they had been initially talking the last few weeks, by the way, of a January reopening. But I will tell you this: a few weeks ago, when Ag Secretary Rollins was at the White House talking to Trump, Trump told her because he wants those lower beef prices. He said, "I want that U.S. Mexico border opened." And she wasn't going to say no, but she said, "Mr. President, I'm paraphrasing here. We'll get a plan in place. They have to make sure of certain protocols and things like that." Well, that takes a little while, but they're gearing up. They were gearing up for it. We had some announcement that there was an integrated government site now that you can
for
go to
screwworm.
for the screw worm. So that's just another indication, Tommy, that they're getting ready to open up that border. Now, I want to go through when it is down. What impact will it have?
Oh,
Uh,
I mean, look at what's happened this week. Taking off the tariffs, Jim. Let's just talk about it a little bit. Taking off the tariffs on Brazil. Last week it was the 10%, now the 40. There's still some type of tariff on them, but that can change. Allowing slowly allowing the Mexican border open. I think also last week when we took off the tariffs, that might have eased some pressure from the Canadians up north. You want to talk about that a little bit?
well, I want to talk about the impact of when we reopen the border on a phased in. It's not going to be reopened right away. They're going to test certain safer areas, but I've been told by good analysts only 200 to 400,000 head may currently be available for export. That's far less than some of the market rumors implied
Hmm.
that up to a million. head. The reason Mexican feedlots appear to be substituting cheaper Mexican cattle for their typical Central American imports. They've had improved rainfall, so it's given producers more flexibility to hold cattle. And the spayed heifer exports are essentially off the table because the export window is tight and the border timing was too late for some of them. So it may not have as negative impact initially as the market thought. We'll get
Okay.
some of those analysis confirmed once that border is a phased in reopening. As far as Canada, I'm not quite sure I got your question.
That's okay. I just that things are easing up all over. What I'm trying to say is, and we could sum it up at the end of the show, is 5, 6 weeks ago, 10 weeks ago, when we were doing this and cattle had its biggest up week almost ever in history, we were having bullish news on top of bullish news on top of bullish news on top of more bullish news. And now it's reversing. It's one. And I looked at my phone. You should see the X Twitter blowing up. Great. Another blow to the cattlemen, another blow to the cattlemen. I mean, we went from the best of times to, I don't want to say the worst of times, but
No.
I would already say, and I'll say it on the screen, the cattle industry is entering a challenging time. If you have a problem with that, drop a comment down below.
Yeah. And also, it tends to signal that we won't make new highs, right? Is that a safe assessment?
It, I won't be buying it and running and gunning for it, but I will say that the fundamentals, we are still short on beef here, but we're coming into Thanksgiving, which you know is a chicken, turkey, pasta, something else, anything but beef. I like having beef on that. Speaking of beef, sometimes you have a beef with this guy, right?
Jerome J. Powell. I say in my speeches, he's a smart guy, but when it comes to interest rates, he's dumb. Okay. And too many Fed governors, that's part of the Federal Open Market Committee, FOMC, are now signaling, well, maybe we better not cut December the 10th when the next FOMC meeting is. On the futures market, odds of a December cut sank to 32.7% earlier this week. It was a little over 50% on Tuesday, and a lot higher even earlier. And that got into the equities market too, Tommy,
Very
because
much.
the equities want lower rates to further put the U.S. economy into fourth or fifth gear, and they're not going to. It looks like they may not get it now in December. But I'll tell you, if they don't cut in December, their next cut is going to be 50 basis points. Remember, I told you that.
Okay. All right. And I do have something we'll revisit. I do have the answer to your question on the Tyson plant,
Yes.
and I want to go over that at the end of the show, and I'll explain to you why. Take a second to clear your throat. I'm going to
Yes.
go full screen on me, and I'm going
Okay.
to mute your microphone. You go ahead and cough all you want. Folks, thank you for watching. My name's Tommy Grisafi, owner of Agbull Media, Agbull Trading. If you're enjoying this content, this is an infomercial, www.agbull.com. We have premium content, $25 a month, $250 a year. You could see you save a little there if you go for the whole year. Mr. Wiesemeyer show will always be free, but we think we have a couple sponsors lined up. But premium content that we're producing all week, text on actionable alerts and breaking news. You get all that and a whole bunch more. Head over to the Agbull website. With that, let's bring in the star of the show. I think he cleared his throat.
I
It's
did.
it's
Tried.
not easy being Mr.
It's
Wiesemeyer.
dry, just dry.
That's
Well,
okay. That's
this is
okay.
my happy hour time, so my old fashioned is waiting for me.
Oh, speaking of old fashioned, I was able to pick up a couple bottles of Blanton's this week. It's getting a little easier to get supply and demand, folks. Okay, we went over the border. I got the Fed. We got December to remember. What's this mean?
That's the Affordable Care Act and the Obamacare, because you'll recall that was the biggest part of the 43-day shutdown. Now, the Senate Majority Leader John Thune, Republican from South Dakota, promised the Democrats there would be a vote in mid-December in the Senate. The House never did confirm a vote that on dealing with those enhanced Obamacare tax incentives. So this really has 2026 election year impacts. And Trump now has been talking to some Democrats. So there's something going on this one. The trouble is there's no consensus on the Republican position. They have talked for years trying to come up with an alternative to Obamacare, and they've never been able to. Most people tell me they see a 1 or 2 year extension of the enhanced ACA credits, Obamacare, with some reform, maybe a means testing and some other reforms. Is that enough to get it through the House? Because know that January 30th, this continuing resolution of spend for the government to keep going for 9 agencies, not including USDA has their appropriations done, thank goodness. But for 9 of the 12 spending bills, they only have funding until January the 30th. So they have until this time to get some things going. That's my angle on this one. This is still
Mhm.
developing, but I would watch it.
Here's
The
what.
next
Here's what.
one,
Yeah, China. Did they buy everything they're supposed to? I don't
no,
think so.
we're up about close to 2.5 million tons of soybean purchase commitments. So that's a step, but recall that in the agreement, and here's the update since we've had our last podcast. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said that before Thanksgiving, uh, U.S. and China will sign the agreement. Well, we thought it was signed before. Well, it wasn't. Maybe this is why China has been so reticent to talk about the details. China has never confirmed what Bessent said about U.S. farm purchases 12 million metric tons of soybeans November and December, and 25 million tons of soybeans annually for 26, 27, and 28.
Hmm.
Whether or not there's a escape clause in this signed agreement that allows China not to purchase it is if U.S. soybeans are not price competitive, also including sorghum and and wheat, because they've been buying some, not a lot, sorghum and wheat. So markets don't really think that they're going to fulfill what Bessent says. I would say most of the traders and analysts who are cynical usually anyway, but
Hmm.
they said China never fulfilled phase one, so we don't expect them to fulfill this one. But Trump could hold their feet to the fire because he's got a little over 3 years left in his administration. So I wouldn't rule it totally out yet. But that's our latest update on the U.S. China agreement. Watch for the true signing of this by Thanksgiving.
Let's take it on home, brother. Milk, is it good for you?
I love milk and I love whole milk. And now it's coming back in time to the schools because it under the Obama rule,
Hmm.
it wasn't part of the school lunch program. Now it's coming back. We won't see immediate change, but that's a step in the right direction for dairy.
And milk prices hitting multi-year lows here this week. So we it's an interesting industry. If you not too long ago, we had high milk prices 23, 24, 25. All right, let's take it home, brother.
WOTUS rule. We finally got a good WOTUS rule from EPA. It has been Lee Zeldin has been good under the deregulatory. What did they announce? It sharply limits, Tommy, what qualifies for the Federal Clean Water Act jurisdiction. That means many wetlands, ditches, ponds, and ephemeral features that previously triggered federal permitting now fall outside of the oversight. That means fewer federal reviews for routine farm projects where farmers are just charged a penalty for projects such as tile installation, pond work, and land improvements. Now, it's not all positive. Court challenges are still expected. Public comments will be open until early January next year. Here's your bottom line. For farmers, the proposal is broadly deregulatory. It does reduce the permitting burdens and offers actually clear rules, believe it or not, in English. However, it shifts more authority to the states. So farmers and ranchers out there are going to have to better monitor their state institutions, their lawmakers, to see what regulatory environment they have relative to the WOTUS rules at the federal level. That's the bottom line on WOTUS.
All right, we had a cattle on feed report. I have the numbers here. It's my understanding these were slightly bullish. I was just looking at X, one of my good friends who's on Twitter. He said, "Great, we get a we get a slightly bullish cattle on feed and then get hit with this Tyson news.
Yeah.
This is the cattle on feed actual 97.8, placements 90.0, marketing's 92.0. Let's the hits never quit. That's chart provided by Neswick Trading Group. I am an associated person, Neswick Trading Group, the cattle industry. I want to finish on this
Here,
note.
wait a minute. Let me bottom line. I
Yeah,
just
you're
got the
allowed
note.
to. It's your show.
It's the lowest October placements on record. Okay,
Really?
little bullish there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, and I'm just going through notes. Placements, feedlots down 10% from 2024.
Mhm.
Net placements were just shy of 2 million head. Placements were the lowest for October since the series began, Tommy, in
Wow.
1996. So, yeah, this is tilting to me to be a friendly report. Marketing, you always got to look at marketings of fed cattle. Were 8% below year ago. Other disappearances, 2% below a year ago. Total cattle on feed was in line with the average estimate of 97.9% produced by a Wall Street Journal survey. So this was the first tally of cattle on feed since September the 19th because of the government shutdown. So yeah, I would have to say this tilts to the friendly side.
All right, let's take it on home. Tommy Grisafi, Jim Wiesemeyer. We had breaking news as we end the show. During the show, this is taped and will be live streamed here in the next half hour, Friday afternoon. The breaking news is, Mr. Wiesemeyer,
The
Tyson
Brit,
did
yeah,
what?
yeah. The where was the plant in Nebraska?
Yeah, I got it over here. Lexington.
Lexington.
Oh,
Did
I
we
got that
ever find
number.
out how old?
Yeah,
Yeah, I want to.
yeah.
Oh, that's good.
What do you say when you want something? Like my little kids. I got it. It was provided here from a good friend of mine. Mr. Wiesemeyer had asked, and we shall deliver. When did that plant start? November 1990.
90. So it's got some age to it.
That's the year
Yeah,
I graduated high school. Yeah, it's been a while, about
yeah.
35 years. Okay, Mr. Wiesemeyer, it is a pleasure and privilege to do the show with you. It's a rough week, especially getting this news. Maybe a good week, but you got to take us home and leave us something optimistic.
I will. We're gonna flesh out, I guess, some more details of the U.S.-China agreement coming up next week during the week, and we'll blame Scott Besson if we don't get it. Two is farmers and ranchers emailing, calling in their lawmakers into the White House saying, "Mr. President, we like trade, but we also need aid." And it's not just due to exports. This is a cash flow bind in many parts fueled by fertilizer and other input cost. We need a bridge to 2026, and we need a solid bridge, multiple lanes. And I think they're hearing it. So by early December, we're going to get an aid package. That'll be the first part. The second part is going to come from Congress, which will be similar probably to the aid package that they had December 21st last year when a total $10 billion. So that's the good side that we're getting. By the end of the year, Tommy, I think we're going to have stability as much as you can under any Trump administration on trade policy. As you can see, they're fine tuning it now. It's making more sense now. And so let's just hope it continues so we can get the government less out of the way and let businesses have known issues so they can know the rules of the game. They know the taxes are going to be cut next year so they can hire more people, come out with more entrepreneurial products, and we can get this economy going in fourth and fifth gear again. I'm going to end it there.
See you, Jim.